Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguela. President Muhammadu Buhari has joined 4 other ECOWAS leaders in Bamako, Republic of Mali, on a one-day peace mission following the political crisis rocking the West African nation. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports that the president was received on arrival at Modibo Keita International Airport by a high-powered government delegation led by Prime Minister Bobo Sise. Also at the airport were the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Zubairu Dada, and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Rufai Abubakar. President Buhari and the ECOWAS leaders agreed to meet in Bamako for further consultations towards finding a political solution to the crisis in the country. ECOWAS Chairman, President Muhammadu Issoufou of Niger Republic, as well as Presidents Macky Sall of Senegal, Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, Alassane Ouattara of Côte d'Ivoire, and the leader of the ECOWAS Special Envoy to Mali, former President Goodluck Jonathan, are participating in the meeting. The ECOWAS leaders are scheduled to meet separately with the Malian leader, President Ibrahim Keita, as well as Imam Mahmoud Dicko and the M5 Strategic Committee, RFP, in furtherance of the mediation efforts. A communique is expected at the end of the crucial meeting aimed at achieving sustainable peace, democracy and development in the Republic of Mali. Excuse me. Let's back home on legislative affairs. The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, writes House of Representatives explaining that he was quoted out of context concerning allegations of NDDC contract awards to lawmakers of 9th Assembly. In the letter read by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, the Minister says his reference to 60% during the investigative hearing on NDDC was in response to a question put to him on another issue entirely different. Following this development, the House rescinded its decision to institute a legal action against the minister. Thursday's plenary passed 3 bills, while 16 others went through second reading. Among motions adopted is a call on the federal government to set up the National Council on Public Procurement to check flagrant disregard of guidelines by MDAs. The House is also to investigate the alleged misappropriation of 100 billion naira by management of the Northeast Development Commission. And still staying with the legislature, the Senate has called for the dissolution of the Interim Management Committee of the Niger Delta Development Commission to pave way for the composition of its governing board. Now, this followed the adoption of the report of Senate Ad Hoc Committee that investigated alleged misappropriation of 40 billion naira in the commission. The report observed that the Interim Management Committee did not operate within the ambit of the Commission's Establishment Act. Senate resolved that the Interim Management Committee should also refund a total of 4.9 billion naira paid to staff and contractors in breach of procurement process. This includes the 1.49 billion naira it paid to its staff as palliative for COVID-19. The funds are to be returned to the coffers of the Commission. Senate paid tribute to Nigeria's first female combat helicopter pilot flying officer Tolulokpe Arutile, who died on Tuesday, July 14, 2020, and was buried today, Thursday. And to other issues, the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development and the Senate have assured that the Ajakuta Steel Company will be given the necessary attention to be operational. A delegation comprising the Ministry of Mines and Steel, Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, Mines and Steel Development and Metallurgy gave the assurance during a visit to the Kogi State government.
President Muhammadu Buhari has done us very proud by starting this process in Russia sometime in October last year. And the process is well underway. We've had a slight delay because of the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. But be that as is may, as soon as air travel limitation is lifted, our counterparts from Russia will be down to start the technical audit, which of course will put us on the way to start this.
Lapidary, fertilizer, electrical equipment and insulators, dyes, ammonia, gas, chalk, and a host of others. In addition to the above, there are other possible downstream iron and steel industries that can be established to utilize Ajaokuta Iron and Steel Company's product as inputs, especially with the renewed commitment of the federal government.
That's caused a very serious concern and a very serious.
Mayor Ogidi reports that currently the committee is undertaking inspection of the steel company in Itakpe and thereafter will proceed to Ajaokuta Steel Company. Right, let's take a pause from this end. We'll join Michael now in Lagos. He has more reports for us on Nationwide. Michael?
Hello, Ruth. Motorists in Lagos are all ready for the new roadmap and its challenges, as the timeline for the partial closure of the third mainland bridge can be counted by the hour. Dr. Ogunyemi reports on the traffic situation, rehabilitation efforts ongoing on alternative roads, as well as official details available to the motoring public.
This is the third mainland bridge, and in a few hours from now, it would be partially closed to traffic, allowing only traffic from the Oworonshoki end to Lagos Island, while motorists who will be coming from Lagos to Oworonshoki would not be allowed to ply this road, to enable contractors begin the first phase of the 6-month-long rehabilitation.
Although traffic would remain only on the Lagos-bound lane of the bridge, there are diversion points at Adeniji and Adekunle for alternative access at the stipulated time at midnight and 1 p.m. in the afternoon daily for the next 3 months. To reduce the expected gridlock, concerted efforts have been put into the rehabilitation of alternative roads, but the worry for motorists is how to cope with the situation.
I live at Mushin. I have to check every morning from Idio Road down to this place.
Without closing the third mainland bridge, to move here on Monday, come and look at it, is jam lock.
So I think there will be a problem for the masses and the economy too.
And for those who want to get around a little faster, another alternative to decongest the road is taking to water.
So we have put a new jetty at the Adekunle ends of Yaba, so that people coming from the mainland can easily access Victoria Island and Lekki and Marina. We put another jetty at Lekki Phase 1, the new one, because we know that definitely water transportation will increase, and we don't want such to come suddenly.
With plans already finalized, equipment and traffic management officials deployed to strategic locations and diversion points mapped out, it becomes imperative that motorists cooperate by complying with traffic rules. In Lagos, Dotun Okunyemi, NTA News.
Now to security matters. Just as coronavirus tightens its grip on the world without relenting, the Nigerian Army has continued to review its strategies to tackle insecurity in the country. While taking over the mantle of leadership at 81 Division of the Nigerian Army in Lagos, the new General Officer Commanding Major General Godwin Umelo challenged officers and men to ensure that their actions are tailored towards combat readiness and proficiency. Lynn Nedeke reports.
As simple as the ceremony appears, it signals the commencement of the tenure of Major General Godwin Umelo, who until now was the Director of Peacekeeping Operations, Army Training and Operations, Army Headquarters.
On my part, as a General Officer Commanding, I will strive as much as possible to make sure that those things you need to function are made available to you.
And all that is required of you is to continue to be law-abiding, to do that which you are supposed to do. And once you are within the law, then your own part is fulfilled.
The exchange of baton was also held at the Nigerian Army College of Logistics, where the new helmsman, Major General Martins Enendo, pledged to complement the efforts of his predecessor to promote the vision of the college.
I urge you to join me as we strive
to meet the standard he has set and perhaps even surpass it.
As the old and new leaders go their ways after this event, their mandate is sacrosanct. That is, they must not relent in leading their officers of men in tackling insurgency, terrorism, and other forms of criminality. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Still on security, in its quest to stamp out illegality and other forms of insecurities bedeviling the country, the Nigerian Navy, in partnership with the Nigeria Police, are collaborating towards achieving the robust security. This was at a courtesy visit to the Nigeria Police Headquarters Zone 2 in Lagos by the Navy Doctrine and Assessment Team. Lineneke again reports.
Winning the war against the various security challenges requires collaboration and application of critical strategies. The Nigerian Navy and the police are strategizing to enhance security operations within their limits. The Navy says that the safety requirements to support new strategies in the discharge of their duties will consolidate the existing security framework.
Further consolidate on the existing levels of collaboration and synergy.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 2, Ahmed Ilyasu, emphasized that security of lives and property in line with the federal government's directive remains paramount.
Policing now should be done with all sections and organizations. We have to close the gap and work together.
Also pledged commitment to improving the combat readiness of personnel to meet the global standards. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Time now for some messages. The news continues with Ruth in Abuja shortly after this break.
Service announcement from the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Emergency Rehabilitation and Maintenance of 3rd Mainland Bridge, Lagos. The 3rd Mainland Bridge will be closed for maintenance from Friday, July 24, 2020 to Sunday, January 24, 2021. Consequently, the Omoroshoki bound lane will be closed for the first 3 months, while the Lagos Island bound lane will remain open. The bridge will take Omoroshoki to Lagos Island traffic from 12 midnight to 1 p.m. Also from 1 p.m. to 12 midnight, the bridge will take the Lagos Island traffic to Omoroshoki on the Lagos Island bound carriageway. The same process will be replicated on the Lagos Island lane upon completion of repairs of the Omoroshoki lane. Motorists are advised to apply alternative routes from Kata Bridge through Ido, Oyigbo to join Adekunle ramp inwards Omoroshoki and from Ijora Olokpa through Western Avenue to Ikorodu Road. We regret all inconveniences this might cause, and we urge motorists to be patient and understanding, even as adequate traffic control will be in place. Announcer Engineer Olukayode Pupola, Federal Controller, Works, Lagos, on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Thanks for being with us. A former Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice in Ondo State, Eyitayo Jegede SAN, has won the People's Democratic Party governorship primary election held on Wednesday, July 22nd. Olajide Bello reports that the chairman, Ondo State PDP governorship primary election, and Governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, who supervised the conduct, announced the result.
The election, which involved over 2,000 delegates from the 18 local government areas of the state, was conducted in an atmosphere of peace and in compliance with COVID-19 protocols. The primary election, which was keenly contested, had 8 aspirants, including the incumbent state deputy governor, Agboola Ajayi, the chairman of Ondo State PDP governorship primary election, and governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, announced that Eyitayo Jegede SAN won the election, having polled 888 votes to defeat his closest rival, the incumbent state deputy governor, Agboola Ajayi, who had 657 votes.
By the powers conferred on me as a returning officer for this exercise, and now that Jegede Eyitayo, having scored the highest votes cast and met all the requirements of our party guidelines for the conduct of this election, is hereby declared winner.
In his acceptance speech, the PDP candidate for the October 10 governorship election in Ondo State, Eyitayo Jegede, enlisted the support of party leaders, members, and electorate in the state to win the election.
I congratulate all of us. Gratitude to God, gratitude to the people of Ondo State. This is the beginning of great things to come.
This is the second time Eyitayo Jegede will be picking PDP governorship ticket, having lost to the incumbent governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu in 2016. From Akure, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And in just, Caleb is already waiting to bring us our next sort of report on Nationwide. Caleb?
Ruth, and welcome to JAWS. In continuation of our efforts at cushioning the effect of COVID-19, wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, has distributed palliatives to vulnerable women in Plateau State. Elizabeth Tukai Andrew reports that the distribution was carried out by the wife of the Plateau State Governor, Regina Lalong.
The distribution was intended to meet the needs of vulnerable women drawn from the different groups within the state. Wife of the Plateau State Governor, Regina Lalong, said women are made vulnerable due to a wide range of socioeconomic conditions and needs to be supported, especially at times like this.
We register our sincere gratitude to Her Excellency for her concern and kind gesture to women as she distributes relief materials and food items across the state through her Future Assured program.
Women groups that benefited from the distribution included Arewa Women, Cleaners Association, Market Women Association, Islamic Council Association, and Women with Disabilities, who were all full of delight and praise.
We appreciate their effort and we know that this palliative is going to go a long way. What has happened in Plateau from the federal, Aisha Buhari, we don't know how to thank you more than we say God bless you.
Items distributed consist of 10 kg bags of rice, blankets, and food condiments, while the Plateau State government received cartons of face masks and infrared thermometers. In Jos, Elizabeth Tukai Andrew, NTA News.
Hopes and aspirations still palpable in Plateau State following the takeover of the moribund brewery agro research company, BAC Farm, by the state government. Citizens are in high spirit as they await the resuscitation of the place. I visited the farm and this is what I brought back. It all started years ago when the then civilian administration under Chief Solomon Lar acquired the land and developed it to become the agricultural hub of the state. The sale of the farm to a private entity raised so much concerns that efforts to wrestle it back proved difficult until the coming in of the Lalong-led administration. The BAC farm sits on a massive 4,000 hectares of land. And when it was functional, it had 3 core departments of agriculture: the livestock, the poultry, and the crop. Now, with the buyback papers signed and sealed, the government has decided to allocate some portion of the land to some of its citizens for cultivation pending the proper setup.
We targeted 1,000 farmers to actually engage the place in 1,000 hectares.
Our visit to the farm coincided with that of the leadership of the NLC in the state on sightseeing.
To tell you, the joy knows no bound, because the indigenous of Plateau State, home and abroad, I will testify to you that they will ever live to celebrate this day. To us, this is a plus.
I want to say that this is one of the legacy His Excellency will leave. I remember past government bought shares, but now His Excellency is saying even civil servants, as you go to work, be engaged in farming.
Like the proverbial goose that lays the golden eggs, Back Farm has indeed suffered gross neglect, as the place now lies in West, with only its memories in the minds of those who knew her then. Ruth, that's it from Jos. It's back to you.
Thanks, Caleb. The federal government has received a grant of $890 million from the Global Fund to fight HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria, and it is expected to be implemented within a period of 3 years from 2021 to 2023. Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanire, who made this known, described the grant as the largest made to any country in the fund cycle and demonstrates the Global Fund's confidence in the administration and programs of President Muhammadu Buhari in the health sector. Let's hear from Basi Taipang.
The fund, since inception in 2002, has contributed to placing 1.04 million people living with HIV and AIDS on treatment in Nigeria. About 120,000 TB cases are identified and treated annually. This has led to a decline in malaria prevalence from 42% to 23%, spanning 2010 to 2018, leading to the treatment of at least 4 million confirmed malaria cases annually.
The implementation of this grant will specially target the poor, the most vulnerable and disadvantaged, and those at higher risk of the target diseases, to promote equity in access to healthcare services.
In addition, the Global Fund also approved a new grant of $21.9 million to support Nigeria's COVID-19 response.
Overall, the Global Fund grants for COVID-19 will support testing for more than 1 million Nigerians over the next 12 months.
The Minister of Health announced that Nigeria has increased its contribution to the Global Fund by 20%, with additional pledge of $12 million for 2021 to 2023 cycle. Stakeholders in the health sector and development partners promise to work together in curtailing the prevalence of the diseases by 2030. Global Fund is a global partnership of government, civil society, and private donors established by the United Nations in 2002 for funding public health interventions for the eradication of HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria in countries of prevalence. Basi Taipang, NTA News.
And our next stop is Enugu, where Mina is standing by. Mina?
Good evening and welcome to Enugu. Creating a mutual support system between the federal government's technology incubation program and the Enugu State Science and Technology Development Agenda will no doubt accelerate technological growth and industrialization in the state and the country. Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi stated this during an interactive session with the management of the Technology Incubation Center of the Federal Minister of Science and Technology in Enugu. Susan Eze has details.
The Technology Incubation Program of the federal government, designed to speed up industrialization by harnessing the nation's talents and know-how in technology, Governor Ugwuanyi, represented by the Deputy Cecilia Ezilo, admitted is a fast road to industrial development. With the Enugu State government already actively pursuing her science and technology development agenda, a strong collaboration between her institutions and the Technology Incubation Center of the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, she said, would definitely result in a win-win situation for the state and the nation.
The government established and in some cases re-engineered and strengthened a number of institutions with a view of achieving technological, industrial, and economic development.
Noting that technological innovations and entrepreneurship are the core drivers of economic growth, providing critical support services to budding entrepreneurs is very much important. This, according to the Technology Incubation Center manager, is where the center plays a vital role.
We can create the right environment that will enable us to train our people to become job creators and not job seekers. The more skills people acquire, the more productive they become.
The team introduced some of their products to the state government. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
The mandatory compliance with COVID-19 protocols as stipulated by the federal government following the partial relaxation of lockdown and window given for resumption of interstate travels has kept officers and men of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Anambra State on their toes with visit to motor parks in the state. Chinyere Fesi Okoye reports.
It is often said that action speaks louder than words. In view of this, the Federal Road Safety Corps Anambra State Command swung into action.
In the morning, when your vehicles are turning, some of them will still have to do that. So you ensure that it's properly sanitized.
The issue of hand washing with soap and running water, wearing of face mask, and checking of temperature took center stage during the exercise, as some defaulters began to run helter-skelter, trying to make some adjustments on sighting the monitors.
Because any fleet operator that refuses to obey the hygiene protocols will be sanctioned accordingly. You know, when we do a sanction, we will recommend that they should be suspended from operations.
Doing a good job. They make sure that everything is in place.
14 passengers before, but now we are carrying 8 passengers so that they will observe the social distance.
By emphasizing that the action is going to be a continuous exercise, the sector commander advised those who are yet to adhere strictly to the COVID-19 protocols to ensure that they do the needful. Noka Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
And that's a bit from here. It's back to you, Ruth, for a continuation of Nationwide.
Thanks, Mina. In order to ensure food sufficiency and promote year-round cultivation in line with the federal government agricultural policy, the Akwa Ibom state government has distributed another batch of seedlings to farmers. Woodwork Etiam reports that this time the farmers gained free cassava stems, for improved yield.
Agriculture remains the mainstay of the nation's economy. In its efforts to boost the sector for food security and sufficiency, the Akwa Ibom state government distributed free cassava stems to farmers to promote all year-round planting. At the grounds of the Technical Committee on Agriculture and Food Sufficiency Office, during the flag-off ceremony, Commissioner for Agriculture and Women Affairs, Dr. Gloria Bates, reiterated the state government commitment to provide support to farmers for increased crops production. The commissioner also urged beneficiaries to make good use of every opportunity given to them, adding that the state government will continue to deal directly with verified farmers to ensure they use all the assistance given to them for intended purposes.
The governor of Akwa Ibom State has done well, and we must make him proud. He has provided some loan for farmers, even this cost is free. Last few weeks, we distributed cocoa seedlings to cocoa farmers. Coconut seedlings we distributed to some farmers, and we are still going to distribute. And we are planting more and more.
Stakeholders commended the Akwa Ibom state government for giving agriculture a first-line charge in its completion agenda. Uduak Etam, NTA News.
And talking security, providing the necessary equipment and enabling environment for the Nigerian Army Intelligence Corps is seen as the required force multiplier to enhance proactive measures to emerging threats across the country. This, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, restated at the inauguration of the Nigerian Army Intelligence Corps Transit Camp in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
That formally presents good accommodation for the Nigerian Army Intelligence Corps, a key player in investigation of crime. The remodeled 42 flats, the Chief of Military Intelligence notes, will address the decade-long accommodation needs of the Corps.
Permit me to use this opportunity to assure the Chief of Army Staff, sir, of the unalloyed loyalty and dedication of the Nigerian Army Intelligence Corps to the realization of the Chief of Army Staff's vision through the doubling of efforts to provide timely and actionable intelligence support for ongoing military operations.
The Chief of the Army Staff acknowledged the force's importance in addressing emerging threats.
I want to therefore seize this opportunity to enjoin all officers and soldiers of the Corps to reinvigorate their collection efforts to ensure the Army effectively combat the myriads of asymmetric threats to our collective existence as a nation.
The Army Chief also hosted traditional rulers from Oyo North Central District who were in the Army headquarters to commend the force for its civil-military relations projects and efforts to protect lives and property across the country.
We want to seek for the judges of the Nigerian Army to please help us in upgrading our barracks, 244 Recruit Battalion to a brigade command status and 2 other battalions so as to secure that region.
The delegation represented different communities in Oyo North District. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
A healthy parental-child attachment stakeholders believe is critical to tackle child abuse, including rape. This is the appeal of concerned persons who believe early sex education can reduce the prevalence of sexual abuse, which is presently dominating national discourse. Maureen Leo Ajom takes a look at the parental influence against rising cases of rape in the society.
Sexual abuse, according to research, refers to non-consensual sexual activity that is devoid of both partners' ability and capacity to make an informed choice without fear or pressure. Investigation also reveals that children's sexual abuse is frequently perpetrated by either a family member or someone known and close to a family and oftentimes trusted, but confusion about who and when to trust becomes a significant long-term consequence of childhood abuse.
Parenting style tend to be more disciplined compared to those raised under authoritarian and permissive or uninvolved parenting style. So what happens to them? They turn to be good, expected to be good adults in future.
However, it has been observed that with frank discussions or exposure to appropriate sex education, children and other vulnerable groups may understand what experiences and advances constitute sexual assaults. This certainly underscores the influence of parents in checking tendencies of rape among their children.
Gone were the days we say we just shouldn't even mention anything about sex to children. They know, they understand, because even if we don't teach them, the society will teach them.
The work has come down to parenthood now. Get close to your kids. Open up to them. It's not our time when, you are now, your parents can. Sex education, open up to your kids now. They need to know everything.
Further researches reveal that children more often disclose sexual assaults or advances to parents who discuss sex or related matters with them in a frank and positive manner. If this development is regular at homes, children, whether male or female, according to psychologists, would grow to become responsible citizens, affecting the society with positive values. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
We'll take a break again. We'll be back shortly, so you stay tuned.
ICPC and NTA say you can help Nigeria to flatten the curve on COVID-19, just as you can help flatten the curve on corruption. transparency, accountability, and integrity just as you follow health guidelines. Stay home with integrity and maintain your distance from corruption, just as you stay away from COVID-19 by maintaining social distance. Report every act of corruption to ICPC just as you report COVID-19 to NCDC. Stay away from corruption, stay safe from COVID-19. Report any act of corruption to ICPC on toll-free number 0800-2255-4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
We have observed the lockdown. We have practiced the measures in order to curb the spread of the virus, but we can do better. The coronavirus spread is increasing daily, and only together can we cut down the numbers and defeat the spread of the virus. Remember, COVID-19 is not a death sentence, and a recovered patient cannot spread the disease. Do not stigmatize. Do not hesitate to report any case, or if you have come in contact with anybody that has been infected with COVID-19. If you have cough and fever, please stay at home and call your state hotline. Find state numbers at www.covid19.ncdc.gov.ng. Remember, it is for your own good and for the good of every Nigerian. Let us do better and defeat the virus. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Thanks for staying with us. Following the postponement of the 2020 Hajj pilgrimage, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria says intending pilgrims who wish to recover their deposits from the state pilgrims welfare boards or private tour operators shall be refunded their money, as the Commission has already commenced the process of refund to various state pilgrims boards for onward disbursement. Chairman of the Commission, Zikrullah Hassan, stated this while briefing the media on the 2021 Hajj pilgrimage. He indicated that pilgrims who wish to roll over their 2020 financial deposit to the 2021 Hajj will be given priority and the rights of first refusal next year's Hajj. The chairman, however, explains that agreements need to be signed, indicating willingness to do so.
The Commission will commence Hajj registration for 2021 from the 9th of September 2020. In light of this, the Hajj portal for pilgrim registration for 2021 Hajj will be open immediately for registration to commence.
The National Hajj Commission advised intending pilgrims who made deposits with private tour operators and want their refund to approach their respective travel agencies with duly signed service agreements, and where disagreement arises, they should make referral to the Commission for intervention. In another development, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mohammed Sa'ad Abubakar, has declared Friday, 31st July 2020 as the 10th Zulhijjah 1441 as the day of Eid al-Kabir. This was contained in a statement signed by the Wazir in Sokoto and Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, Sokoto. The Sultan advised Muslim communities throughout the country to observe Eid prayers at their Jumat mosque and not Eid grounds to further curb the spread of COVID-19. Sultan Sa'ad Abubakar felicitates with the Muslim Ummah, urging them to continue to pray for peace, progress and development of the country. Let's bring you an update on COVID-19. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed 543 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. The latest figures, released at about midnight Wednesday, July 22nd, indicates that 14 states recorded new cases of the virus. Lagos has the highest number of new infections with 180 cases, followed by FCT with 86. Kaduna has 56 new cases and Edo has 47. Other states include Ondo 37, Kwara 35, Ogun and Rivers have 19 cases each, while Kano has 17. Ebonyi and Enugu recorded 16 cases each. Delta has 7, Bayelsa 4, Bauchi 3 and Abia 1. So far, Nigeria has 38,344 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 15,815 patients have been discharged, while 813 patients died of the virus. Well, with a global increase in COVID-19 infection and fatalities, ECOWAS Commission is proposing regional guidelines and protocols to contain the pandemic. A draft standard to this effect, which also includes building capacity for local solution to COVID-19, is receiving parliamentary consideration at the ongoing extraordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament. Let's hear from Onenge Fineface.
With the understanding that the socio-political and economic growth of the region depends a great deal on the health of citizens, ECOWAS Commission is seeking the adoption of regional capacity and standards in combating the coronavirus pandemic at the levels of prevention, containment, and even treatment.
When the countries closed their borders, there was no way for us to get medicine from elsewhere. You needed to have indigenous products to use. So today, we need to be able to develop the capacity for local production of vaccines in the region.
Members of Parliament agree that a united fight holds greater prospect for success against the pandemic.
People who made these local products should be approached by ECOWAS so that they can develop further the product they've made. Go to our markets. You'll see so many people. People are there seated without wearing face masks. No social distancing. Nothing is being respected. This is a concern for us.
If you are not putting on masks, you will not be allowed. Therefore, you are not even forcing them to wear it. But their necessity will now force them to wear the mask. There are so many places you cannot enter if you are not putting on mask.
I think it should just be a general policy, no mask, no service. And if we can enhance that and show that work, I think that will be a great help to our region.
I believe we should ensure that our standard agencies are very effective. So if the standard agencies are very effective, then all our recommendations will actually sail through.
They expect member states to implement the draft standards when adopted to help the region build its resilience against the virus. In Abuja, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
COVID-19 survivors are calling for an anti-stigmatization campaign as medical experts say intensifying sensitization on the coronavirus pandemic in Nigeria is key to ending the disbelief of some citizens. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, while sharing their first-hand experience of the lethal virus, urge Nigerians not to take any symptom lightly, especially during this rainy season. Oluseyi Adiagbo has details.
I had pain, leg pain, especially from here down. And then I became a little bit weak for the period, for almost 4 weeks. I was sitting down praying or lying down when I was under oxygen on my bed praying.
Abdurrahman Balogun, Head Media, Public Relations and Protocol Unit, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, is sharing his experience as he recently recovered from COVID-19 in Abuja. The story of Dr. Mohamed Kawu, Acting Secretary, LCT Health and Human Services Secretariat Abuja, and Charles Aniago, Commissioner for Information, Delta State, who are also overcomers like some call them, is almost the same with that of Abdurrahman Balogun, though with slight differences in symptoms.
I had cough but was just mild. But when I go to the center, I think I had chest infection. It was tough for me because I had to be on parenteral antibiotics.
The trio, however, confirmed that the challenge of stigmatization and an overstretched health facilities are factors that should not be ignored.
For me, if there's anybody to stigmatize anybody, it's even those who have passed through it that should stigmatize those who don't have it, because at least you know your status. But there is no need for any form of stigmatization. And so it's good for individuals to know their status.
A frontline worker, Dr. Vivian Kwage, and head of Infectious Disease Unit, University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, explains that the symptoms of COVID-19 are not specific as it can mimic any common infection diseases, hence the need for people to be watchful and be prompt to getting medical attention when necessary.
It is better for you to get the test and, be given a negative bill for COVID-19 than for you to stay with the symptoms and assume that these symptoms are as a result of either malaria or the common cold.
The guests unanimously agreed that although some successes have been attained in the war against COVID-19 in Nigeria, much needs to be done to address the level at which citizens are breaching the safety protocols. In Abuja, Olusheye Diagbo, NTA News.
Well, since sensitization is key, the Abia State Director of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Ngozi Okechukwu, has commended the Nigerian Television Authority for being at the forefront of informing Nigerians and keeping them up to date about the COVID-19 pandemic. This was during an advocacy sensitization visit to NTA Umuahia tagged Increase Risk Communication and Community Engagement on COVID-19. Steve Lona Wakolo has the report.
As part of its mandate of mobilizing favorable public opinions to support government policies, programs, and activities, State Director of NOA in Abia State, Ngozi Okechukwu, says the sensitization campaign is to ensure that people adhere strictly to the preventive protocols of the COVID-19 and calls on the NTA as a partner in public enlightenment to assist.
The aim is to increase our capacity to communicate the risks of COVID-19, which is rising in not just Abia State, but globally.
General Manager NTA Umuahia, Cordelia Ukwoma, expresses NTA's preparedness to partner with the National Orientation Agency in the dissemination of the advocacy programs towards curtailing the spread, while urging the agency to do more, since people at the community level are careless and do not really believe in the existence of the COVID-19.
We are both in the business of mobilization, social mobilization, communication, and impacting the policies and programs of federal government in the state. And this happens to be one of such programs.
The number of deaths recorded so far in Abia State is 3. In Umuahia, Steve Lonai Nwaokolo, NTA News.
Right, a federal high court seat in Port Harcourt has remanded 3 foreign nationals and 6 Nigerians at the correctional center pending the ruling of bail application in a criminal matter brought against them by the federal government. The 9 defendants are facing trial on a 7-count charge of aiding and abetting terrorism, concealing of vital information, and possession of illegal firearms by the Office of Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Kinsley Amajiri has more.
The 9 defendants are standing trial before Honorable Justice Mohammed Sani of Federal High Court, Port Harcourt. The charges bordered on aiding and abetting terrorism, concealment of vital information towards the fight against terrorism, facilitating payment of ransom worth $200,000, and possession of illegal arms. When the charges were read, the defendants pleaded not guilty to the offenses as charged. Prosecution counsel Labra Mogaji thereafter asked the court to put them on trial and remand them with the correctional service pending the determination of the matter. The defense counsel Abimbola Akaredolu, SAN, however, applied for bail for the defendants, which was opposed by the prosecution counsel, who sees the offense as weighty. Justice Sani, who said the court will give the matter accelerated hearing, thereafter fixed August 10 for ruling on bail application and commencement of trial.
The court equally adjourned this bail ruling till the 10th of August 2020. And the course is clear for the commencement of the trial, and the prosecution are ably ready to go on with, to commence the trial in earnest.
The people who paid the ransom came to our people and said, we've paid ransom, please take them from where they have been released to our embassy. After doing that, my client then gets arrested. My clients get arrested.
The matter before Justice Musa is in connection with a pirate attack on a vessel and subsequent kidnap of the crew members off the coast of Equatorial Guinea. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Talking sports, countdown to the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 begins. Kene Ima Abodike brings us more on Sports Update.
Enugu State gave a pilot insurance policy for